checking if the window was closed because yesterday wasn't, and the noise was real. Hey everyone! So today's video is gonna be just me sitting down talking to you guys. I want to talk a little bit about mental health, especially anxiety, which I feel like is something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's some people don't really know they have anxiety, and they don't know how to deal with it. So the first type of anxiety is social anxiety, which is caused by social interactions with other people. So basically, if you get really nervous when you have to talk to someone new, or so what are the things that trigger it for me? A couple of things. So firstly, knowing that I have to talk to someone in the future. For example, knowing that I have a meeting with a professor or with my boss, or that I have to send an email, like a work email, or that I have to schedule an appointment with like a doctor or something like that. That really does it for me, especially emails for some reason. Emails give me tremendous anxiety. Like, I take a while to reply to them just because I can't make myself to do it. Like, I think like, what if I make a spelling mistake? What if I forget to say something that I don't want to forget to say? What if this person thinks I'm rude? What if that the answer I give them is not what they're looking for? What if they're judging me? This is like real. Like, this I get almost every time I send them an email, and it's so hard to overcome because, well, I'm gonna have to email people for the rest of my life, but there's always like, for me, it's that added pressure of like being permanent. Like, people can't forget because it's written down as opposed to like words. Like, you can just kind of like explain yourself better in the moment or whatever. Or be like, oh yeah, that's not what I meant. But with email, they're there forever. Even if you send another one and nobody, like, that's also a big fear. Like, what if I have to send 2 emails because the first one I said something that I read, or I forgot to say something. Like, nobody likes to get 2 emails in a row. So, see, that's what I mean. That's anxiety because it's like something so small, like being scared of making a grammatical or orthographical mistake. Like, no one's gonna care, but that gives me anxiety. So that's anxiety. It's not just normal work. Because I'll think about these things and delay for like 3 days. And the email's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm not saying it happens with every email we send, but it does happen quite often. The second thing that gives me social anxiety is going to places where I don't know most of the people. For example, if my friend's like, oh, I have to go to this party with my work friends, come with me, and I don't work there, so I won't know anyone there. Or it's like, oh, it's my cousin's birthday, why don't you come? There's gonna be his friends. When there's like there's people that I don't know very well, that gives me anxiety. It's like what will they think of me? What if I say something stupid? I won't be able to have a comfortable conversation with people I don't know. Stuff like that, especially with larger crowds. Like, if it's one-on-one, it's a different type of anxiety. But if it's lots of people, then it's like, I'm gonna embarrass myself, everybody's gonna stare at me, they're gonna judge me in groups, stuff like that. Whereas one-on-one is like, what if it's awkward? What if I start sweating? And it's, I don't know, how anxiety might be hard to understand, but if do, I think you'd be like, oh, yeah. First of all, like with the emails, I read the email very carefully, and I might read it like 2, 3 times, and I think of the answer I'm going to give, and I reply to that email in my head at least like 7 times before I actually send it. And then I like to know that when I'm going to send an email, when I'm going to write an email, I'm not going to be rushed. I'm going to have good internet connection, good computer battery, all that stuff. I never send replies from my phone. I don't know, it gives me like, and again, it gives me anxiety, like that something's gonna go wrong. I usually like to do them all at once. Like, if I start replying to an email, I'll just reply to all of them and not delay the pain. So I'll read a lot of emails, and then when I'm like, okay, I have like 5 emails to reply to, then I'll like, once I decide, I'll just do them all at once. And if I have to make phone calls, I'll do those as well at the same moment, just get it over with, kind of like a Band-Aid. Because then I know I'll be like really painful for a few minutes, but then I'll feel so free, and then I won't have to like think about emails till at least like I don't know, a day or two or whatever. Depends. Like some people reply straight away, and that's like, ah, anxiety. Here it is again. Like it didn't even give me 5 minutes. Okay, let's start with the one-on-one. So one-on-one might include meetings with one person, with phone calls, and what I do is first schedule them with like a set time and date as soon as possible. That way I know there's no way around it. If I say like, oh, I'll just stop by or I'll call whenever I have time, I know I won't do it or it'll take me so much longer. Whereas if there's like a social commitment to do it, then I have to do it. Like, even if I don't feel like doing it, the other person's going to be expecting me and I'm going to have to get it done. Before I go to the appointment, I take a deep breath. I do this thing where it's like, okay, for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to pretend I'm really self-confident. I love myself. I'm really funny. I'm this really charismatic person. I'm going to pretend I'm that person. So I just walk with my back straight, with all confidence, smile. Just walk up to the meeting or wherever I have to go, and then you get there and then you have this vibe. It's like, okay, when I say hi, I'm gonna say hi as a really confident person. Hi, how are you? Good, how's it going? Thanks so much for having me. All that jazz. Then I sit down and then I'm like, okay, I feel a little more comfortable with myself, and then I feel like I can stop pretending and just keep a confident tone of voice. That really helps me do it, and it helps me, like, it relieves the pressure of being me, the one who's being all confident. But it's like, I think of almost as if like my alter ego is being the confident one, not me. So it's fine. I don't know, it's a really dumb trick, but it works wonders for me. Try it out. The other thing I do is after these meetings, like usually during the meeting I'm like sweating. Even if I seem really self-confident to the other person, I'll be sweating and I'll be like doing this with my hands, like not knowing what to do with myself. So what I do after is I go to the gym. After these meetings, I either go for a run or go lift weights, or I usually play squash, especially during the winter, or I do yoga, any sort of physical activity, because the physical activity sort of takes away the energy. So when you're really, really tired physically, it's kind of like you don't have the energy to be anxious. I do sometimes try to work out before the meetings. This doesn't always work out well, because if the meeting is like earlier in the morning, I'll have to work out like way earlier so that I make sure that I'm like showered and clean and set for the meeting. I'm not gonna be, sometimes I'm like sweating after I work out, even though I'm showered and stuff, I'm still like warm. And I'll keep sweating for a while, so I don't want to be sweaty for these meetings. So sometimes that doesn't work out as well as after. And I also have this like really irrational fear I'm gonna be late for everything, like for exams or for meetings and stuff. So I like to like give myself that time to like get to the meeting and do everything possible to make sure I'm not late. And working out before might make it feel like I'm gonna be late, so I try to take precautions. Okay, another tip is I don't like to drink coffee. Yes, it does keep you alert, but it also makes me really anxious. It gets my heart rate going. It makes me like uneasy. I think I'm sensitive to caffeine. If you're not, then you might be okay. But if you drink coffee regularly, you're an anxious person, try drinking less coffee. Or what I do is I drink a lot of black tea and a lot of green tea. If I know the caffeine release is slower, it doesn't make me uneasy as opposed to coffee. And this is related with my other tip, which is drinking a lot of water and making sure you're well hydrated. Coffee dehydrates you. When you're not well hydrated, or at least when I'm not well hydrated, everything goes wrong with my body. I get like sugar cravings, like carb cravings, I eat more food, I feel anxious, I feel depressed, I freak out, all this stuff. So I drink a lot of water, make sure I stay hydrated. Another thing is getting enough sleep. If I sleep too little and I'm sleep deprived, I get bad mood, I feel sad, I feel grumpy, I feel like I can't do anything, I can't think properly. Obviously if I do it for one night, I'll probably be okay, but like 3 nights or so in a row, they're killers. So just make sure you have a really good sleep before any important social commitments or work commitments or exams or whatever. Trust me, you're gonna do so much better than if you don't. If you do have to deprive yourself of sleep, try to make it like 2 or 3 nights before your big event, so that that last night you can be well rested. That's like the golden rule. Also, try not to sleep too much. This is especially for people who suffer from depression. Anything over 8 hours is just gonna make you sluggish. You're gonna feel even more tired than before you went to bed. You wouldn't feel. I almost feel like guilty for sleeping so much. Like, oh, I'm not gonna be productive. Other people are doing all these things with their lives, and I'm just like sleeping my life away. So sleep the right amount of hours. That's a big one. Another one is loneliness. So this might be counterintuitive, but the less time I spend with people, the more anxious I am to meet them. And it's kind of because I feel lonely, kind of because I feel like, oh, they've forgotten about me, they don't really want to hang out with me, they're just being polite, like maybe I shouldn't go. But if I spend a lot of time with my friends and with my family, I find that it's easier to deal with these social situations, even if it's with people I don't know, like even if it's not with them, but with strangers. It's so good for depression, it's so good for anxiety, it's really good for eating disorders too. So that's a big one. Just try to spend lots of time with people, quality time, not just like try to engage with them. Like usually when I first meet with friends and I haven't seen them in a while, I'm like grumpy, I'm like not responsive, I don't reply to them. But the more time I spend with them, the more I go back to my normal self and I start making conversation. I still get like my mood improves, I start feeling better, and it's like, oh, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought. And then it's like, oh, I'm really glad I came. And then I end up leaving feeling great and feeling happy I met with them. So yeah, so I hope you like this video. Please subscribe if you like this and let me know what you want to see next. I have lots of topics I want to talk about: nutrition, depression, anxiety. Obviously I covered, but there's also different types of anxiety. So yeah, just subscribe for more content. Just quickly, I want to say I just downloaded the free version of Final Cut Pro X, which for those of you who don't know, it's a video editor. I have the free version for 30 days, so I'm gonna make it a point to make 30 videos in 30 days. After that, we'll see. Might go back to iMovie. Okay, hope you like this video. Subscribe, please.